Oh, welcome to Scratchish. I am in my backyard testing out a new setup, and I'm gonna prep for our recipe for this week, which is gonna be lamb chops with a red wine reduction. It's gonna be so good. So I'm starting off with these really beautiful lamb chops. They've been cleaned. That's not what I'm here for today. There are lots of videos out there on how to properly clean your lamb chops. This isn't that video. We're just gonna do a simple marinade. Now, some lamb chops are very gamey. If they are gamey, that's when you have to soak them in something. Some people do milk, some people do water with salt or water with vinegar. Do what you think. I personally do a little water and salt, but these didn't have that taste, that smell per se. You'll definitely smell it if it's gonna be gamey. The smell will give it away. Lamb chops. I don't really like touching meat with my hands, so I'm just gonna throw them in this bowl, okay? Just like this. So eventually I'm gonna marinate them in a Ziploc bag, but I like to season them with a bowl. I'm using a green seasoning. This one is store-bought because I just didn't have time to make it, but it's still gonna taste good because it doesn't require that much. I'm gonna use some of this W sauce, just a little bit of splash. I just think it gives this some good flavor. Those are my lovely children laughing in the background. And then we're gonna do a steak seasoning. This is like a garlic and herb steak seasoning. I like to season my lamb chops like a good steak with a little extra, and they actually taste really amazing. I'm gonna do some seasoned pepper. Now my steak seasoning has a lot of salt in it, so I'm not gonna add any other salt, just more herbs. I have some Italian seasoning dried. You can use fresh herbs chopped if that's what you have. I didn't have that today, so this is what I'm using. And I'm just gonna give this all a nice little shake in there. Again, I'm using tongs, but you can rub it in with your hands if you like. That's just not what I like to do. And it looks something like this. And then at the end, I like to grab some fresh thyme and just pull the little pieces in there. You'll remove it before you cook it, so don't worry if some of the stems get in there. It'll be just fine. Just give it a nice little chop. I forgot olive oil out here, but I'm gonna put a little drizzle of olive oil, and I'm gonna let these marinate overnight, and we will see you all tomorrow with our delicious lamb chops.
So let's get started on this recipe. So here I'm just doing a sear. I like to use my cast iron skillet on medium heat with oil and a little bit of butter. And I'm just going to sear these up to they're nice and brown on each side. And then we're going to baste them with some garlic, some thyme, some butter, of course. If I had rosemary, I would throw a little rosemary in there. And you just want to get a nice baste on these. Just baste it up and down with butter and make it nice and juicy, as we see right here. It gives it that browning, it gives it some flavor. The butter browns, giving it a depth of flavor, and it just makes it absolutely delicious. Now take a shot of these chops. Look how good they look. Yes, so those are done. Set those to the side, let them rest a little bit so the juices are kept inside. Right here we're just sauteing a little shallots and garlic in some butter and oil. A little shaky shake on that pan. I just want to sweat them. I don't want to brown them at all. I just want to keep a nice light flavor. And we're using port wine. My girl Dana put me on port wine. It's so good. It's nice and sweet and full of alcohol. So we're going to put that in there and deglaze and get a little flame on that and get that reduced. Make sure you reduce it to at least half or more to just increase the depth of that flavor. But before we reduce it, I like to add a little bit of fresh thyme, this time without the sticks, because I'm going to keep the sauce whole. I'm not going to strain or blend it like some people like to do. I actually like those chunks of flavor of the shallots and garlic and thyme in there. This is our Demi Glace. This is just a reduction of veal and beef bones. Mine is store-bought because remember, this is Scratchish, semi-homemade, so it just makes it easier. You want to add that in there and taste it as you go to make sure it's the flavor that you like. I also like to add some of the seasoned pepper, some of my favorite additions. At the very end, you just finish the sauce off by whipping in some butter. You whip in a couple pieces at a time. It just makes the sauce nice and smooth and luxurious and decadent. So good. Nothing more decadent than wine and butter and just deep, yummy flavors. And there you go. Our port wine demi glace is done. and ready to be served on our delicious lamb chops. So these, it's not a complete meal. I just wanted to show you how to make the lamb chops. I'm going to do a little drizzle and some microgreen for color. And it actually does give it a little bit of flavor too if you do want to eat the microgreens. And you just enjoy. This makes a wonderful Valentine's Day edition. As seen right here, it's a gorgeous plate and it's oh so delicious. Look how juicy. Oh, I can remember how good that tastes. That was so good. Let me know what you think, okay? Enjoy. Happy Valentine's Day.